he brought me over and then he said, "Oh, come with me." He knocks on the door and I'm like, "Oh, what is this?" And he opens the door and Jet's there. This is his trailer. Jet's in there, having a cigarette or something like that in his trailer. How boss is that, by the way? And then he's like, "Okay, you go have fun." I'm like, "What?" And he just closes his door. I'm just standing there with Jet Li. He's like Jet Li's sitting there with his like leg on the table, that with a cigarette. And I'm like, and I don't speak Mandarin, man. I'm just like, he doesn't speak Cantonese very well either.
So Hayden, I know this is your show, but before, were we gonna? Because you had mentioned before, like when you came to me and Shao about the podcast that you wanted to do, and you said that you were only going to bring Shao and I on probationary. That's a word, right?
Probationary was the exact words that I used. I was like, Justin, I'm thinking of a podcast. You and Shao are here because you're the only ones that I can actually get together probationarily.
Yeah. And
if you pass, you will get full constable positions.
Right. So, seeing as how Shao's rolling fucking late for this one, instead of doing what we were normally going to do, should we use this to, I know I'm still here probationary, but should we use this to interview him, kind of catch him by surprise?
I think it would be a good,
Oh, fuck, he's here. He's here.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's unlocked.
Come in.
Sorry. So much traffic now.
Did you if you saw there was going to be traffic, why didn't
you should have left earlier.
Thank you.
I should have. You're right.
So if you had a job, let's say,
ouch,
and a start time.
Ooh, wait, what?
I just feel like
the way you looked at me. So if you had a job,
hypothetically.
Oh, okay.
So you at work, okay, you have a call time.
Yes.
Call time's 8:00.
Yep.
What time do you show up?
7:30.
Right?
Yeah. Try
You're
to.
on time, you're fucking late. That's my motto.
Correct.
So,
do
you not take this seriously?
I do. Trust me, I do. I just thought it was a group consensus that since the boss is always late, that I could maybe show up a little late too. But clearly, I've learned my lesson. I won't do it again.
I'll let this slide because I see here you've got some Dunkaroos. And
what a fucking cocksuck.
And they're very Australian because there's a roo on them. But
that's all it takes. That's all it takes. To win you over.
A little bit of Australian in it.
I'm in. Over.
He's in.
What?
He's
actually
hired.
Yes. I'm happy that you brought that up because Hayden and I were just chatting before you got here that your probation period is coming to an end. Basically, Shao, today we are going to decide, and by we I mean Hayden, if you make it through your probationary period.
Okay.
Because as we all know, this is Hayden's show. And
I know. Trust me, I know.
You need to fucking earn your spot, bruh.
That's true. I understand.
So just because you bring some fucking Dunkaroos.
It's strategic.
And knee pads.
And a Red Hot Chili Peppers beanie. Toque, whatever you call him here.
He's fucking amping. He's hamming it up for you.
I won't see your socks if you're wearing those knee pads correctly.
Oh, okay. You'll see it later.
So, hey. You want to start it off?
I do, obviously, because, this is my show. And there's a few simple rules to be on my show.
Oh.
8 simple rules. Mm-hmm. Get the reference? Probably not.
I do, because I deserve to be on this show.
Yay! 8 simple rules for dating my teenage daughter. Anyone remember that show with Kaylee Cuoco?
Yes, I remember the name of it. I don't think I've ever watched it.
After the dad actor, I really should know his name, passed away. They changed it to 8 simple rules. Anyway,
Oh, now I know who you're talking about.
So I just want to be able to laugh. If you can make me laugh, you might be in. That's all it takes to win.
He's a fucking tough nut to crack.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm
enough.
I'm literally trying to think in the past 13.
Oh, he laughed. Yeah, he's
I
in.
laughed at myself. I laughed at myself.
That's still a laugh because you're kind of laughing at me for not really knowing. There it is. I was literally thinking of the past 14 episodes or so when Hayden actually belted out laughing. You know, I'm sure you have. I'm just trying to think of anything that would make you laugh or what your actual sense of humor is. You know, I do know Hayden.
I feel like he likes a good dick joke, you know?
I'm glad you had a joke to the end of that.
See?
Yeah, there.
Get loud at
You're good. You're good. I can see why you're still
he's-
here for now.
Yeah.
He's got 2 extra weeks.
He puts on a very... No, you know what? We're not going to make this about Hayden Shao. See what he's doing, Hayden?
He's trying to do what I did on my
mind games.
interrogation.
Yeah.
Turn it back on the good cop, bad cops.
Yeah.
Let's start off the interviewing process then with, can you please state your full name and your date of birth?
Yes, sir. Shaopin, Shaopin, last name Tsui, Tsui, born 1988, March 25th, 5:55 a.m., Richmond, BC.
That looked like you were reading off a screen like you didn't know
Richmond?
the answers.
You were born in the Mund.
Well, of course.
Hey, Alex was born in Richmond too.
Did your parents, is that where they were living at the time, or did they just...
They were living there at the time.
So tell me a little bit about your parents, because when did they move to Canada?
My parents immigrated to Canada 1985. I'm 80. Yeah, 1985.
It's a good year.
It's a great year.
Great
Hayden,
year.
I think you're born 1985, November 1st.
Yeah. Great year.
So
Remember that.
what,
It's going to be on the exam.
it's on the
One on
final
one.
test.
Hard to forget your birth date.
Did you ever talk to your parents about why because your mom and dad both are successful
Sure.
in their professions.
Yeah.
Were they, I know did your mom start her profession over there? I don't know about your dad.
Yeah.
Or did he start his profession more in Canada here?
Well, he went to school in Hong Kong for medical school, and then he went to the UK, but it was Leicester or Newcastle.
They're both places in
I
England.
was going to say, they check out.
Yeah.
They're on the map. Yeah.
Yep.
And then after that, he moved to Vancouver, UBC. And so because of that, my mom stopped and quit everything to come here, start a family, or not start a family, but to, for my dad, raise us kids.
So it was for...
Yes.
Because I don't know, I always, I guess first generation Canadians whose parents have immigrated here, I'm always very interested to know what brought their parents here,
Right.
whether it was work, school, they were fleeing a bad situation, whatever it was. It's one thing I really like about Canada, actually, is, a lot of different people here from different circumstances, and that's what I think makes this country pretty great.
It's like a melting pot.
It's a melting pot, yeah. Especially
so-
in the West Coast. Not so much where I grew up, but...
Right.
We'll save that.
Yeah, we'll say that.
So just to elaborate a little bit more, my dad is a neurologist and my mom is an actor. And whenever I say actor, or if I say I'm an actor, everyone's, what have I seen you in? What have you been in? I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah.
But yeah, my mom usually shot TV shows, less movies, but more dramas, TV shows in Hong Kong.
She's kind of a big deal in Hong Kong, isn't she?
You know what she is? She is.
Yeah.
If I go on the street, there's always going to be someone that recognizes her. Mm-hmm. Even if here in Richmond, if we go to a restaurant, there's going to be some whispers and pointing and this. My brother and I used to love seeing people with, try to hide their excitement or whatever. They had menus and be like pointing, like, she's over there. We always love kind of pointing that out. But growing up was really interesting because that was my world.
Yeah.
Right. That was just this is normal for actors, producers, directors, whatever, to come to my house because my mom loves to host and make food and all that stuff. She's also now a chef. She's coming out with her like 15th cookbook. I only have 2. Got some catching up to do. But
is it true that your cookbook 1 and cookbook 2 are her cookbook 7 and her cookbook 8? I've just heard rumors. Tabloids. Have you ever been in a tabloid?
I have been in tabloids.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not a good thing, Hayden. Mark that down.
I've actually got a question about that further down my list.
Oh, yeah.
but-
Let's go. Get right to it.
Okay, I'll get to it because I had to dig. Every good boss does a little
Background
bit of-
check?
And you're the
Does a
best.
background check.
You're not just good. You're the best.
Relax.
Hayden.
Thank you. I feel like the sun's shining out with those comments. No, I just wanted to see. First of all, I wanted to look up your film and TV credits just to see what you had actually done. Because we know we all went through the same film school together. I did the film program, but you did the acting program. So before I get to the tabloid question, I just wanted to know.
I'm nervous.
Oh,
I'm nervous.
Where did your love for acting come from?
Great question, boss. So growing up here and kind of what I said a little bit before, it probably came from my mom. And then a chunk of it has to do with the fact that when I first started school, my English was far worse than it is now. It's still not great. But
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Were you only speak Cantonese in your household as a child? Is that why?
Yeah. And so when I went to kindergarten, sometimes it would be hard for me to communicate. And the way I communicated was through action, and I liked making people laugh. And so growing up, I watched a lot of Stephen Chow movies, Looney Tunes, Mr. Bean, a lot of physical comedy stuff, Jim Carrey. So doing that kind of silly, goofy stuff made a lot of people laugh, and that's how I made friends. And that's sort of the basis of everything. Yeah. And I was really fortunate to be able to go on set with my mom and go. I love the being on set and the whole energy around being on set. And, I love that stuff. So I always kind of knew in the back of my head that I really wanted to get into film, but I just didn't know if it was realistic or not.
Hey,
Yeah, man.
if I may jump in,
Yep.
because I just want to roll on that for
Sure.
a bit. Two questions. Did you get into, did you do drama in school? Did you experiment a little bit with your, desire or passion, even if you didn't know it was a desire or passion at a young age, doing that sort of acting and stuff? And 2, do you have any horror stories or funny stories of shit that's happened to you either on an audition or on set?
I have I have a couple of embarrassing ones. But so the number one was, I did take drama in grade 10. Yeah. So here in Canada, you start high school in 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And grade 8 and
Some
9.
of Canada.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's a bit different in Alberta.
8 and 9th grade, I was in band.
I love the band.
Yeah, bro.
Can you guess what I played?
Points.
If you say the alto sax, I'm going to hump you right now.
Okay, is that what you played?
My brother played.
Yeah. I just got it back from my parents, but this is not about me. Bass. Slap at the bass, man.
Was it a woodwind instrument?
I do slap the bass
brass?
now, but I played a brass instrument back then.
You were either a trumpet guy, because that's easy and small
well
to carry,
can
or
you-
the tromboner.
Look at his lips. How well can he purse those lips?
That's a trombone lip.
Well,
That's a
I'm going to say
trombone
French horn.
No, I was a trumpeter.
Trumpeter. See, I was a tromboner.
Were you?
You were a boner?
Well, he's got the arms, because you guys both have long arms.
right.
I was too short, there's no chance I could full extend.
That's hard.
They
though.
just give you a smaller one. It'd just be a higher octave, I guess. I don't know. But interesting, nice. So
Yeah.
you're very musical, and then it turned you did something turn you off of the music?
Well, no,
into
I did the music mostly because I was following my brother's footsteps, doing the saxophone and stuff like that. And my dad's quite musical. And so growing up, even though I was surrounded by, the acting world, I never fully dove into it because I was actually quite scared that I wouldn't get the support from my family. So I kind of wanted to steer away from it. I'm like, oh, this is not realistic.
Did your mom not have support when she went to get into it? Or what would make you think that?
The reason why I thought that was because sometimes I would want to perform in front of her friends, like the uncles and aunties who came, the producers and whatever. And I would do cartwheels and be goofy and really loud and just kind of obnoxious actually. And then one of the producers was like, hey, you should get him to,
Shut
movies.
the fuck up. Oh,
shut the fuck up first. And then if he can be quiet, he should maybe consider doing, getting into the industry. And I remember my mom saying like, oh no, that's silly. He's not going to do well in the industry. That kind of thing. But I think she meant it as more of a protective thing.
Yeah.
I think all parents are very like that when your kids say, I want to get into the industry. You know what I mean? What I mean? It's a lot of rejection. There's, a lot of stuff that goes with it.
Yeah.
And since she has a front seat to all that negative stuff, she would probably say that to kind of deter me in a way. And so I never really thought much about it. And then when I did drama in grade 10, because drama class was more of a play class, you just play games, you do scenes from time to time, but I was really into the scenes. Right, I was learning about status, and this person has high status, low status, whereas all my friends are just kind of just reading the script and just when is the bell over, or when is the bell going to ring, class over.
Easy class,
easy class,
goof around and
guaranteed at least
get
a B
a credit,
if you show up. And one day after class, my drama teacher asked me, "Do you have an agent? You should get an agent." And I was like, "No, I don't." But it's something. Hearing that was just.
That's nice.
Kind of like
as a teacher, that's an interesting.
I'm like, do you want to represent me?
Yeah.
I think Shao's the first one to get an agent out of film school, BT Dubs.
Really? Oh, maybe. But so
from our class, anyways.
Oh yeah, maybe. Seriously,
Just
I don't really
BFS
remember.
entirely.
I was there.
You're on the top of the list.
I was there when he was offered it.
Oh yeah, you were. Yeah. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. And then so from then on, it was always in the back of my mind. And then after high school, I took a year off just to work and save up money because I had this plan where if I could make it into UBC with my crappy grades somehow, then the tuition can be paid for because my dad's a professor there. Oh. But my grades weren't good enough. So I just took kind of.
Oh, you fucked up.
I know.
You fucked up.
It was so shameful. It was so
I feel
shameful.
back then, not that you're that old, but 15 years ago, to get into UBC was a big deal. Because when I first came here, 14, 15 years ago from VFS, UBC was talked about like the most prestigious university in British Columbia. Now it feels like everybody's getting into UBC. I worked with checkout people and they're just like, oh, I'm going into UBC. And I'm like, wait, I thought it was like a hard school to get into.
During that time, it was, and before me, it was apparently easier. I think you needed 80 average or something to get into the arts a few years before I graduated.
That's still pretty high.
And then it became almost 90% to get, and I was like, I couldn't get in.
Yeah, that required me to
lesser, but
so my plan was just take random classes in Langara and see if I can transfer after if I get good grades.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I did psychology and the anthropology, the normal stuff that you would do. And then that year they decided to open up a film class. Exactly everything I wanted to learn. And so I signed up for it. I had to audition for it, and I got in, and the class was only 12 people, I think. And then I actually dropped out halfway because I was just not mentally mature enough to do it. I was not about the work. I just wanted to have fun and do scenes, and I was just thinking back at it, was just so bad, and just doing some improv in class, and I was just always trying to go in for the laugh and stuff like that. And then I just couldn't take it anymore. And so halfway through, I went to one of the teacher and said, I made up an excuse. I didn't want to say I Oh my god, this is embarrassing.
No, bro.
I didn't want to
good.
say that like I just don't have the chops to do it. I didn't want to admit that to myself either.
Yeah.
So I told her that I had a sick uncle that I had to that did leave
Oh, take care of.
to take care of.
All of a sudden it's like, oh, sick uncle back home.
Yeah, and then I never turned back. And then after that I got pretty down because I felt like I was going nowhere in my life. And then one of my best friends was like, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to get into acting." I said, "Then why don't you do it? Like go home and sign up for classes."
Who's this friend? Fuck yeah, this friend.
Yeah, Steph Taylor. She's still one of my best friends. And then so I actually that night went home and looked up film schools in Vancouver. First thing came up, Vancouver Film School. And that's the start of that journey.
Nice.
That's how I met you. And you.
Yay!
Yeah, we did. We met in the Centrals, baby.
Was if there was no Steph Taylor, there would be no Four Seasons with me.
That's right.
There would still be Four Seasons, just not that
No, with
epic.
this cast
The epic
right
sub.
here in front. Yeah, the
Yeah.
ever-growing sub.
The
Hey,
ever-growing sub
Yeah,
at
the
the poker
ever-growing
game.
So good.
You touched on it briefly, but I'm always curious.
Yes.
Because especially since we started the podcast and your probationary period,
Mm-hmm.
you and I have discussed, not at length, but quite significantly, our influences in terms of comedy and who we enjoy viewing and watching and inspiring from. Were you inspired for your acting more from dramatic actors or from comics like Conan O'Brien or, any other stand-up along the way, like Robin Williams or anyone like that?
I did like dramatic actors and movies. However, it was more so comedic. Going back on, like I said, Jim Carrey or Mr. Bean and stuff like that. I especially now watching Mr. Bean, where when you're little, you would see everything seems so simple, right? He had a mission, he had to overcome it, in funny ways. But it's now studying it or watching his interviews or rewatching it and stuff like that. It's so calculated. Because Rowan Atkinson doesn't like to improvise much. I don't know if you know that, but all his actions and stuff were calculated, and every rehearsal he did was very kind of the same in the sense that he wanted to see the timing. It's always the timing and always the reactions and stuff like that. He never really steered, it was always that as written.
Timing
sort of thing.
is a big, big part of comedy.
Yeah,
especially his
for sure.
comedy when there's no
Dialogue,
no dialogue,
driving
no
it forward.
punchline. Right, the punchline is the timing of the action or the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Or just
yeah.
a simple facial reaction can just
Yeah.
make me cry laughing. And you mentioned Conan too. In high school or maybe before high school, I started getting into Conan, and I had a TV in my room as a kid, and so I would stay up and till 12:30 to watch Conan. I usually would just watch the monologue and the skit and maybe sleep depending on who the guest is, but that made me love sketches and just being silly and kind of gave me the permission to be wacky and crazy and stuff like that. So it also gave me a passion to write stuff. So it's not just in front of the camera anymore. It's more so, I want to collaborate and do these things as well. So just from Conan, it kind of grew into a whole other thing that I fell in love with.
We sort of jumped over it because this is really good conversation that this led into with Hayden's inspirations. He's waiting. He's waiting. He feels like
the
there's a bit.
tabloids?
No. Well, we can get to the tabloid stuff, but just from having, been on many sets and to many auditions myself,
Yeah.
I want to know if there's like either a favorite moment on a set or an audition that's like either something, because sometimes on sets, they call them happy accidents. It's not in the script. Something happens and it ends up being like fucking magical for the film, or something that like horrific happens, or, you fucking bomb an audition, or, you whatever? Is there any
Right.
moment from a set or audition that is sort of cringe for you, or on the
my
other
God,
side
yeah.
that is like, oh my God, this crazy thing happened and it led to the most beautiful moment?
I can have one of each really quick. I guess I'll start off with a good one, which I might have told you guys before, but because I was privileged to have my mom in the circle, when Jet Li was here filming a movie called Romeo Must Die with Aaliyah, R.I.P. I
Fucking love Jet.
I auditioned. Okay, actually, I auditioned for that. I auditioned for that movie as young Jet Li. There's one scene where. Have you watched that movie?
Oh yeah, but not for a long
Yeah.
time.
There's one scene where Jet Li's character. There's a flashback scene, and him and his brother. So me and my brother were, like, I think trying to immigrate to America or something like that.
Yeah.
And then, so the scene was supposed to be in the ocean, and I'm like floating on a basketball, and my brother's trying to comfort me because like our raft broke or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. And so I went on the audition, and my brother and I both went in for the audition, and I only had two lines or something like that. One was like, oh, but when will they come, or something like that. Someone was like, oh, they're gonna come save us. I'm like, but when will they come? That's my line. And the lady was really nice. I sat at a desk. It wasn't like a normal everyday thing where you stand on a mark and there's a reader or whatever. It was just like office, and she sat there. It's like, can you say these lines after me, or like whatever? This is what's happening. Can you say it like this or whatever? She almost coached me through it.
Yeah.
And I did it, and she's like, okay, great. Like, well, that's it. And I left, didn't think much of it. And then we get a call that it's like, oh, we want to cast Shaopin to be young Jet Li. Can you do it? And so they told my mom, this is what you have to do. Da, 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 da. But
Okay, I was gonna say, were you fucking young Jet Li and Romeo Must
no.
Die? Okay.
Here's where the bad part comes. Here's where the bad part comes, and it's very, very, very revealing. Is that it required me to know how to swim, and I didn't know how to swim.
No.
But
You didn't lie and just fucking
You know what?
learn really fast?
You know what? I was. So we did actually lie at the beginning.
Yeah.
My mom's like, okay, we're gonna go to UBC and I'm gonna fucking teach you how to swim.
Yeah.
But because I had like near-death experiences when I was a little child in the bathtub, I was just not.
It's
I was
like
not
a trauma
down with
thing.
it. It was a trauma thing, and then
Okay.
I was actually kind of pissed because I found out it was shallow water and you're floating on a freaking basketball the whole time. But I get, you want safety first on a set.
How old are you?
Oh my
Like
goodness.
5, 6, 7?
No,
8?
maybe 8.
Okay,
Maybe
yeah.
8, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the
Crazy.
good. Sorry.
Yeah.
So leads to the. So actually that's kind of like the bad part of the story, but the good part was after all that, I was able to go on set of Romeo Must Die, and I got to have lunch with Jet, like one-on-one. The director, who was my mom.
Keep them. Keep them. Keep them.
One of my mom's friends was one of the directors, several. And he brought me over, and then he said, oh, come with me. He knocks on the door, and I'm like, oh, what is this? And he opens the door, and Jet's there. Just his trailer. Jet's in there, having a cigarette or something like that in his trailer. How boss is that, by the way? And then he's like, okay, you go have fun. I'm like, what? And he just closes his door. I'm just standing there with Jet Li. He's like Jet Li's sitting there with his like leg on the table, like that, with a cigarette. And I'm like, and I don't speak Mandarin, man. I'm just like, he doesn't speak Cantonese very well either. And so I'm just like,
Do you know I was cast as a young you?
Yeah. Do I look like? And then at one point, the director friend comes, like knocks, and then he comes in and he hands Jet Li a cane, like a prop cane that he's supposed to use.
Yeah.
And so I'm just eating a sandwich at that point, and then he's like looking around, inspecting. Bang! He like freaking smashes the cane on the table to test its strength and durability, and it freaked the fuck out of me.
Fuck.
And then he's like, good. And he gives it back to the director and he leaves. And then I'm like, can I go now?
8-year-old boy by himself with this fucking...
Yeah. What's happening?
Wushu
I'm like,
champion of China.
Yeah.
leave, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really memorable. It was really cool.
That's so cool, man. So cool.
Loved the trailer smelling like cigarettes.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't fucking. I would have just started smoking right then at 8.
Yeah.
You have an extra? You have extra? I butt fuck your start?
Yeah.
I butt fuck you? I butt fuck cigarette? Butt fuck?
That's a whole. No.
Yeah.
I do.
Is that how you lost your virginity? Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to bring up because I didn't know that. That's really cool because when Justin and I interviewed you previously,
Yes.
a
Yeah.
long time ago for a different role, you told us about how a certain Marvel movie was coming up.
Yes.
And you were in the running for that. Can you elaborate on that a little bit, please, and what happened with that circumstance as quickly as?
Yes.
Oh,
Tito.
Chill.
Thanks, Teets.
So this was a few summers ago, of course, and I was back here for my brother's wedding, and I was a groomsman, so I had a lot of stuff to do. And then my manager at the time in Hong Kong messaged me and said, "Hey, do you have time to do an audition?" and had it in tomorrow. And I said, no, I actually don't because I have so much stuff to do. I have to pick people up in the airport and all that stuff. And she's like, I'm going to send it to you anyways. I'm like, oh, whatever.
Because ones like that, they don't tell you what it's for. It's top secret.
And then I look at my phone, the email. The first thing I see was an NDA. I'm like, ooh, kind of big. Open the file. And
Non-disclosure agreement for those that don't know.
Yeah. It means you can't fucking talk about it. Yeah. But here he is. Take it away, Sharpin.
You can now because...
Yeah.
And then at the top of the form it said Marvel Studios. And I was like, what? And I knew they were doing Shang-Chi as well.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, no way. Like, okay, I'll do it. Like, you know, fine. I told my brother, like, you know, I'm going to do an audition. So find someone to cover me. And, so I did it, and luckily it was two scenes and 6 pages total or something like that. But it wasn't a Shang-Chi script because I just didn't finish it yet. It was from Good Will Hunting, 2 scenes from Good Will Hunting. And luckily in film school, I did those 2 scenes. Like I studied them, you know, extensively for scene study. And so I kind of knew it already. I called Steph Taylor, who got me into film school. She came over and helped me read. And then I got past 2 rounds, and then to the point where the casting director was like, "Hey, so you have a valid passport, and are you going to be free from January whatever to April whatever?"
Holy fuck! Did your penis grow?
I was literally sitting on the toilet when I read that email, and I was like,
just stood up mid shit.
well, I mean, I haven't wiped yet, but I was on the So, but I just didn't hear back.
Yeah.
So what can you do?
That's.
I mean, I wasn't gonna be Shang-Chi. I wasn't gonna be the main person.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna cast somebody known.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Or at least, I mean, a lot of people might not have known. I forget his name. I loved him in
Barbie.
No,
Kim's Convenience.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
He was like loved Kim's Convenience, but that's fucking epic, man. But that's the way it goes. It's like you say, you don't. I'm surprised it even said Marvel because I've had one for Star Trek, one of the new Star Trek movies, and I didn't find out till after. No, it was the Justin Lin one. I think the third one. Anyways, but I didn't even find out until my callback or until after my first audition what it was for. But yeah, that's the nature of the business, man. It especially as an actor, most of the time you just go in, you do your thing, and then you don't fucking hear anything, and you have to sort of learn to deal with that. And I know for me that was a real struggle, and so I can only imagine what it would feel like when you're moving along and call back and scene again, and then you're getting asked about fucking dates and passports. Yeah. And like trying to keep your emotions in check because you're thinking, this is it, man. I'm fucking in. I got my break.
You're totally right because I actually at that point didn't tell anyone because I knew it wasn't finalized at all, right?
Yeah.
And that happens in Hong Kong too, where like, we want you to do this project. And then maybe a couple of weeks before, it's like, oh, something changed. So
yeah.
There goes that, you know? So I'm never celebrating until I'm on set, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I want to lastly as I've gathered, is that you've been quite successful in your journey so far in certain creative aspects. I would say successful based on my own successes.
Thank you, sir.
So I want to quickly jump in on the tabloid parts of it.
Sure.
Very, very, very quickly.
Yes.
So in my research, my background check of you,
Oh God.
I came across an article, and the headline of it was something that was interesting. I don't remember. I think I still have it open, but I was just like, I read it and I was like, oh, this doesn't sound very good for you as a character, your character. But could you please elaborate on your relationship with former Miss Hong Kong, Grace Chan?
Whoa, what the fuck?
So Grace Chan is from Vancouver, and she was a pageant winner of Miss Hong Kong 2000. I can't remember what it is actually, 13, 14. And when I was in Hong Kong, my mom has a cooking show, and she would have guests to go on to eat the food at the end and, talk about chit chat kind of thing. And she was a guest, and I wore a Vancouver Canucks Millionaire V, things at Vancouver on it. She saw that and she was like, oh, you're from Vancouver too. And then I'm like, yeah. And then so we just chatted and we sparked up a friendship, and then we would hang out. But because she's the Miss Hong Kong, there would be paparazzi following her everywhere. And so it was me, my friend, and another person, and her watching a movie. And then I guess people took photos, but cropped out the other two people, and just me and her in the photo. And so they're like,
Allegedly.
oh, Shao was dating, Miss Hong Kong. And I was like, wait, what? So it was my first taste. That headline was my first taste of, okay, life is not going to be the same in a way. Of course, it's very, very surface level because I'm not the main focus of it. I'm just attached to her name. And a lot of my friends can't really go in public without, being very, very careful at all times, which sucks. But that's pretty much it, to be completely honest. She's still a really good friend. And
How many times can we end on this? How many times have you doinked?
Grace? 0.
Cut. Okay, can we just say like any number?
Okay,
So how
you mean?
many
Oh, you
times
meant
have
this year?
doinked? Yeah.
Oh, so back then, I think.
Carry the one.
84.
84.
In a span of 6 months.
Sign him, Hayden, and take us the fuck out of here, because Tito is up my ass.
Well, there you have it, folks. That was very good.
Yeah,
Thanks for the
Shao.
questions.
I wish we had more time.
No, thank you. That was
We
fun.
should do this. Could be like a recurring thing, like get to know us. You think that was what the podcast would be about? Right?
Learn about us. So yeah, we'll get back to you in a few weeks as well.
the next probation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
You're
role
on to
playing.
the just like your callbacks. You're on. You're
Right,
on to the
right.
next
Yeah.
level
Are you
of-
available next Tuesday or two Tuesdays? from
I
now?
should. Yeah, of course. For
Okay.
this podcast, of course, anything.
Right on. So until next time, keep on.
Keep on thumbing. You guys fucking rock.